We did it, boys! Woo! First side flick in 2021. I wonder what juicy story is the first thing we gonna talk about. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on another episode of Side Flick. My name is Chris. Another year in Hollywood continues on with their nonsense, but that's not gonna stop us from having a fantastic movie year with all these films finally being released. At least that's what we're hoping for. It's going to be a jam-packed year of just entertaining film after entertaining film. I've already made my 10 most anticipated movies of 2021. I'll link that in description along with all the upcoming horror movies currently listed that we'll hopefully also see in 2021. You guys can check those out if you have the time, but if not, today what we're going to be discussing is, yes, this live-action Rubik's Cube movie that Hollywood is insisting on throwing onto our faces, some details concerning Morbius and Venom 2, even some casting details on the live-action Hercules movie coming up with Disney. So I'm going to need you movie fans to start the year off the right way and leave me your opinions on everything we discussed here today. What got you excited? What did you think is ridiculous? I know a lot of y'all going to say the Rubik's Cube movie, but let's get creative. Tell me what you would want the plot to be for the Rubik's Cube film. As well as don't be forgetting to hit that like button just as being your victory lap for making it past 2020. Alright, so just jumping into it here, the first story of 2021, this nonsense where Hollywood is saying they want to make a live-action Rubik's Cube movie. Deadline here is reporting that Rubik's Cube movie in the works from Hyde Park and Endeavor Content. Now, from reading this article, it sounds like they're really trying to bring the popular Rubik's Cube toy into a whole new era for the future, with saying that this is the start of them making a movie, a game show, and a lot of other stuff involving a Rubik's Cube. But specifically on the movie, this is what one of the producers had to say about the film. I've had a personal and nostalgic connection to the Rubik's Cube from my early days in India. I'm thrilled to partner with Endeavor Content and Rubik's Smiley and look forward to creating a wonderful and complex Rubik's universe. Oh my, here we have another cinematic universe, and is it going to be all the different colors of the Rubik's Cube? We're going to have a solo green movie, a solo blue movie, and then they're going to come together and oh, I'm in for this. But on a serious note, we don't even have an idea of the plot and what they're thinking about doing with this Rubik's Cube movie. We don't know if it's going to be a biopic, which it doesn't seem to be from the sounds of things, like it's the origin story of how the Rubik's Cube was made, kind of like what they're doing with the Tetris movie. Instead, this is seeming to be some sort of original idea that involves a Rubik's Cube that is meant to entertain us and, of course, sell Rubik's Cubes. Now, I'm on the same page as you, and I think this is ridiculous. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't even know how it's going to work out, but then I think back to times where I also thought, this sounds so stupid, how can you make it work? And that was the Facebook movie called The Social Network that I think is fantastic. And even then when the Lego movie was announced and people thought that was crazy, and then when it came out and it was good and it didn't get nominated for an Oscar, people went wild. So as long as you can come up with a good idea that's entertaining, that kind of makes sense with your product, why not? Let's see how you do this. It could be another emoji movie on our hands, but really just add this to the long lineup of up-and-coming toys that are being turned into movies, with the Slinky movie, the 8-Ball horror film that's coming out with Blumhouse, even coming with a Funko Pop movie, but man, you know I'm looking forward to that. How do you guys feel about a Rubik's Cube movie being in the works? And heck, tell me your plot and what you would want the Rubik's Cube movie to be about. From there, jumping on to a movie that a lot of people forgot existed, and that is Morbius. Now, this film right now is still set with a March 2021 release date, so in the next couple weeks, we should be getting another trailer for this thing if Sony is still planning to release it, but we'll see. Jared Leto went ahead and had an interview where he gave us some more details involving this Morbius movie, and it slightly excites me for what is to come. He said exactly, when talking about Morbius and its plot, he finds a cure and goes from being this frail, sickly person who at the end of his life to being strong and powerful, but then there's a catch. I get to play these 3 different characters in a way in this Jekyll and Hyde story that's just big and fun and sometimes a little scary, which I think is different from the genre. I'm excited about it, and it should be a big, fun popcorn movie. I think maybe there's a lot of people on the same boat as me who are only interested in this Morbius movie to find out what the Spider-Man connection is and how this ties into the MCU and the Sony Spider-Man universe. Because we had shots of Spider-Man in there. We have Michael Keaton playing the Vulture once again. It's really the only reason I'll probably be there opening weekend. But aside from that, it's kind of cool to hear Jared Leto talk about his excitement for this movie and how he gets to play up this character. So hearing these details that Jared Leto brought up about Morbius, does it excite you more for this movie, or could you still care less about it? Or is the Spider-Man connection the only reason you're interested in this? And before we get to another Spider-Man connection involving Venom 2, I have to talk about probably one of my most anticipated movies that Disney's coming out with, and it's a live-action remake. Yup! That's right, a live-action remake is right now one of my most anticipated movies that Disney is currently making, and that is their interpretation of Hercules. And if you haven't heard, yes, Disney is working on a live-action interpretation of Hercules, just like they're doing with all the movies they've ever made. But Hercules is a character I grew up watching over and over as a kid. I love that movie to death. I know that soundtrack by heart, so I'm really looking forward to see what they make here. It's basically the first superhero I really liked, and this movie is being produced by the Russo brothers, who brought us a lot of the best the MCU had to offer. Now we're starting to finally see rumblings of who they're looking to cast as the live-action Hercules, as well as who they're looking for the live-action interpretation of Meg. Now, the source on this is coming from the Dis Insider, which is an outlet just dedicated to bringing us Disney-related movie news, and they are always seeming to be on the money right here, and they've gotten a list of who Disney is looking at to cast for this movie, and I think it's going to get a lot of people rumbling. For Hercules, they're looking at 2 people right now in particular. There could be other people on the list that we don't know about, but these 2 seem to be the front runners, and that is Michael B. Jordan and Taron Egerton. Immediately, I know the elephant in the room. Okay, let's just go out and say it here. How do I even say this without sounding like a racist or a fool? They're not redheads. How could they be Hercules? Ah, I got you there. You thought 2021 was the year I was canceled. But these are the choices that Disney is looking at to bring Hercules to life, and I gotta admit, both these choices weren't what I was really thinking. I guess it's just because I'm looking at Hercules as more as a traditional standpoint and being what the movie gave us. Because if you didn't know, that movie of Hercules goes from the age of 16 all the way to the age about 21, 22. And these guys just being in their early 30s don't really scream to me a young Hercules, but we've had the Russo brothers already come out and say that they're not going to do an exact translation of what that animated Hercules movie did. Instead, they're going to do something in the same vein and even keep some of the songs from that movie, as well as putting in new songs into this film. So maybe they're going with a much older Hercules. So really all that's left is, can these guys get unbelievably buff to look like Hercules? And the answer is heck yeah. I probably would lean more on a little bit of Taron Egerton just because, yeah, that would be a more traditional looking Hercules that I'm used to. I've also seen him be charming and funny with the Kingsman movie, but then again, Michael B. Jordan also seems to have those qualities. So I'm fine with these 2 guys. Now, for the choice of Meg, I think is like, if they don't get this person, I don't see who else they could get. And for Meg, Disney is trying to make an offer to get Ariana Grande interested in the role. I mean, can you say anything more perfect than that? I think Ariana Grande would perfectly encapsulate what the character of Meg is. I think she can pull off that sass as well as just looking so damn beautiful. Not to mention the singing voice is there, and since they want to bring in musical numbers into this Hercules movie, she would be amazing for it. Only time will tell, but right now, this is what your lineup is looking at for your main leads involved in the live-action Disney movies. How do you guys feel about these people being the front runners to be in the live-action Hercules movie? Jumping back onto the Spider-Man train here, let's get to talking about Venom 2. Now, this is one of my most anticipated movies of 2021, and this one isn't even because of the possibility of Tom Holland's Spider-Man showing up. It's because we're gonna have Venom versus Carnage, and as a Spider-Man fan, I have been dying to see Carnage on the big screen. But now the possibility of Spider-Man showing up in Venom 2 has grown even more, with a video surfacing online with Tom Holland being directly asked if Spider-Man is involved in Venom 2, and well, here you go.
In the MCU, do you think Spider-Man and Venom will ever cross over?
Ooh. That would be sick.
Just in your opinion, not asking for any spoilers.
Tom's thinking so hard.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
As Tom's
for legal reasons, I cannot answer that
plead
question.
the fifth.
Ooh.
Spoiler boy Tom Holland cannot hold it in. I mean, I know that was a no answer and was a basically I plead the fifth, I can't say anything for legal reasons, but if you can't say anything for legal reasons, that's basically a yes, right? If he's not in the movie, then what would be the point of not being able to say anything there? Would Sony really stoop that low and be like, look, you're not in Venom 2, but just don't tell people you're not in it so we can build a little bit of hype and get people thinking you are in it? Would Sony really be that cruel? I don't know, man. But it's that thing that we've been seeing right now. If Spider-Man 3 really is going to bring in the multiverse and have us really dimension hopping in, going to different universes here, what's to stop Tom Holland at some point in that movie ending up in the Venom Tom Hardy universe interacting with that character before he pops right back into his own world. While Tom Hardy's Venom isn't my ideal Venom yet, I think it's still a better version than what we got with Topher Grace, so it's one I would definitely like to see go toe-to-toe with Spider-Man, and if they have to team up to fight Carnage, but really, it's just how Sony is going to handle interconnecting their entire Spider-Man universe and have it make sense within the world of MCU. But you guys see this right here, that Tom Holland is playing coy about answering whether he's in Venom 2. Do you guys think he is? Or he isn't. But that is just all the movie news we currently have going on right now, guys. I want to just thank you so much for following me with another year of wonderful movie content. I hope I can bring you a little joy to your day. I love doing the movie news stuff and talking upcoming films with you guys. Now this year I am going to be trying some new stuff and doing some new things, so I hope you guys can check that out. And if not, I just appreciate you watching the video here and now when you get a chance. It means the world to me. So be sure you stay subscribed, hit that like button, follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.